just go nuts and let you race on the streets, basically. The police just shut off intersections. You just run lights. It's just complete insanity.
Yeah. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Off the Record. We love Off the Record because they are here for you. I just had a client at Westside Collector Car Storage call me this weekend, got a ticket on the PCH on a Sunday, was just cruising along, and I sent him straight to Off the Record. Why? Because they're going to do it. They're going to cover you. If you get a ticket, you don't plead guilty. You go to Off the Record, more specifically, offtherecord.com/TST, or download the Off the Record app and use code TST10 at checkout. Off the Record will set you up with a qualified attorney in your jurisdiction, or the jurisdiction where you got that ticket. They'll fight that ticket on your behalf. They'll go to court on your behalf. They'll negotiate on your behalf. You don't really have to do anything. Just scan or photograph that ticket, upload it to Off the Record, and they will handle the rest. Their success rate is amazing. Not a week goes by where I don't get a email or a text or an Instagram DM from somebody who said, Off the Record saved me. They got this handled. They got it taken care of. It was no worries. It was easy. It was affordable. And we saved them 10% with our code TST10 on the app or offtherecord.com/TST. Never plead guilty. Exit that ecosystem easily, quickly, and smoothly with Off the Record. Lastly, offtherecord.com/TST or code TST10 on the Off the Record app. All right, folks, today in studio is Tony Quiroga. He's the editor-in-chief of Car and Driver magazine, which you have almost certainly heard of. They're the more consumer-oriented magazine that is under the Hearst banner alongside Road and Track, which I work for. Tony has driven everything. He is a very good driver. He talks about some of the important things he's been driving recently. We talk further about whether or not start buttons should exist. It really seems to be a hot topic of conversation, and tell stories from magazine testing that we know you all will love. Tony Quiroga of Car and Driver magazine is on the Smoking Tire Podcast.
Switched your coffee with
I used to buy good coffee, but then Eric started buying bad coffee.
Seattle's
I don't know what happened. Seattle's most average.
Yeah, that's what I saw downstairs.
Yeah, he started buying Seattle's best, which on the one hand, thanks for saving me money. They don't all need to be bags of Verve for $22.
Right.
On the other hand, I'm
Ethiopian.
like, you should buy one good bag and put it in my office, and then a bunch of average coffee and make it for everywhere else.
That's what we do at the Car and Driver office.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. Do you have your own?
I have.
Do you have one labeled Tony?
I have one that I prefer.
Really?
Yeah.
What does everyone else have? Who has so there's does someone have like a real snobby coffee?
No, there's one so they come from the same roaster, but one's a light and then one's like a French roast, and then they make the light way too much.
Okay.
And so I'm like, don't even make it. And so I have hidden the bag from.
The light is like the super caffeine,
yes,
right?
It is. Yeah, like
the
Dunkin' Donuts coffee and McDonald's coffee. You're like
the light roast is that's like super caffeine coffee. Yeah. So what are you doing in town?
We are here to do some presentations. We do presentations to OEMs.
Oh.
So, what Car and Driver's up to in the next year, and what new things
it's
we're doing.
the upfronts for magazines.
Yeah, it's more just like we call it the road show, and we present on what we're doing this year, what's new, what's different. We've got some website stuff that we're working on that we're sharing with them, and all the award stuff that we're doing.
Right.
So we just share with them what the year looks like for us, and just check in. It's a check-in.
One at a time, or all of them?
It's one at a time.
One at a time?
Yeah.
Oof, boy, repetitive and exhausting that must be.
Yeah, it's all right. It's fine. It's part of the job. It's actually one of the more fun parts of the job.
Is it?
Yeah, it's fine.
Because
it's fun to talk about what you're doing.
Sure, okay. Yeah, it is. I agree. It's when I am with my guy, which is, a bunch, my editor at Road and Track, he never seems like he's having the kind of fun that I get to have working at Road and Track. I think my job is peak fun.
I think
and the higher up you go, the less fun it gets.
Well, you parachute in
Yeah.
and get to do all the cool stuff.
Most
and
of it,
hang
yeah.
out with all the fun people and
Yeah.
drive cool cars.
Yes,
and
the
good
thing
roads.
the thing that you want to tell people you do when you work at a car
When they
magazine.
imagine what it is.
Right.
Yeah. No, totally. And then
Yeah.
you don't have any of the stress of budgets and
Right.
meetings and all of that
It's the
nonsense.
opposite of YouTube. When you tell people you make car videos for a living, they're picturing, what they see on camera and not everything else.
Right, everything
It's
that went into it.
Yeah. But I don't have a mic guy in that, so yeah. But are you enjoying the business of magazine as opposed to the lightning lap every day?
It's totally a different job than what I was doing before, which is what you're getting at. It's more of like a CEO management job.
Yeah.
And it's
Are you prepared
not
for that? Are you learning that actually nobody knows what they're doing? Because I've learned that a few times.
No, it's. I mean, the first year was a huge learning experience,
Yeah.
for sure. And just learning all the people that work for Hearst Autos,
Right.
all the people that work in marketing, all these people I'd never been exposed to that suddenly you're exposed to. And one of the things about the job that's crazy.
Wait, they all work for me? How does that work?
With me, yeah.
Everyone,
but
sir. Everyone works for you.
One of the weird things about it, though, is, however many OEMs there are and PR departments, plus all the people that work at Car and Driver on editorial, plus all the marketing people, plus the salespeople, I am beholden to all of these people, and they may have a burning question that needs to be answered at any point in the day.
Yeah.
And so it's just like this constant influx of communication,
Right.
which takes a lot of getting
So
used
what
to.
do you do to like make time for you? Not like even in your personal life, but like you
During
have
the
shit.
day?
You have shit that needs to. So
It
do you have
gets
to,
done
do you have
after
to go?
hours.
It does,
Yeah,
right? Okay, yeah.
No, it gets done after hours because there's no time during the workday. I mean, it's
what-
meetings.
that's
That's
what my
another thing.
father
Like
told
there's
me.
so many meetings.
Yeah, my dad would tell me that. He said, from 8 to 5, it's meetings and phone calls, and so he'd have to go in at 4 and do the things that he needed to do from 4, 5 to 8, and then from 5 till 7.
Exactly.
Those
When
were
things
his-
quiet down.
yeah,
When
yeah.
people stop slacking you, when people stop calling you.
Yeah.
And I actually listened to the 2 episodes that you did with your father, and amazing.
Yeah,
It's like a management, like
he's good at that.
coaching
Yeah.
seminar. And
Yeah.
when I drove across the country last year, I listened to both. I listened to a bunch of your podcasts, but I listened to those 2, and I was just like, these are really inspiring.
Yeah, he's really smart.
Yeah.
It's a big shadow.
Yeah.
Well,
He's-
when he comes back, he's vacationing in Sicily right now. When he comes back to this side of the country, we'll do it again.
But just like the lessons in like curiosity, the lessons in don't be afraid to say you don't know something.
yeah,
And
that one gets a lot of people.
it's awesome.
Not being afraid to say you don't know how to do something. That one fucks a lot.
Yeah,
of people.
or
Pride
what
is
something
a bitch.
means.
Yeah.
Or I mean, I'm introduced to all these acronyms now.
Yeah.
And abbreviations, and it's just like now I'm just like I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Like what is that?
What's the craziest one?
Oh,
Do you have a
like MVP, minimal viable product.
Oh, yeah,
which
okay.
means the complete opposite of most valuable player.
Yeah.
But that was when I was stopped in the meeting. I was like, what does that mean? Like
Yeah.
you're throwing this around like I should know what this means, and no. But
Hannah, Zach's fiance. I won't say where she works, but she came to dinner with us, and they have some fucking acronyms over there that like to any regular person make no fucking sense whatsoever.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not.
Each
I
tech
mean,
company or industry seems to invent its own acronyms, which does help them talk to each other more quickly. But if you
Does
talk
it,
to
though?
them, it does for them. They understand it. But
You know whose
we have to
acronyms I
explain it.
don't fucking know? My tax guys. And I have a panic attack every time he sends me fucking my poor tax guy twice a year has to give me tax 101 over again. It's fucking terrible. I just learned what an EIN is right now. No, I didn't, but it's like, right?
It's identification number.
Yeah, it's
employer
it's
identification
social,
number. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
It's a business social security.
Yes, it's a
Yeah,
business
yeah.
social security number.
I've also noticed that I'm inundated with information now in a new way, and the RAM in my brain is full.
Yeah.
Like nothing writes to memory. It's just like in for the moment I need it, and then it's gone. And then I thought maybe that was COVID. I thought this is like post-COVID brain.
Yeah,
But
you thought you have long COVID?
yeah,
Which you
exactly.
might.
Like I did some damage with my COVID, but I don't know. I may have been.
What do you do about it? What is your like
Everything gets written down.
It does okay.
Constantly.
By hand, or do you use Apple Notes
no,
or something?
I write everything down.
Notebooks?
I
Press
have-
launch
I have
notebooks?
no, just spiral bound like college notebooks.
Oh, nice. You kept it old school.
Yeah, yeah,
5-star Mead
yeah.
shit.
I'm not that young. So
I will. Oh, I mean, I just have. Well, stolen isn't the right word, but every time I go on a press launch, let's just
you keep
say,
them.
I
Yeah.
come home with my share and your share
Right,
of
of
notebooks.
moleskins.
Moleskins. I got all.
Well,
of
we
them.
give those away for letter of the month.
Oh yeah.
So I give away all
Get a
the
press launch
tchotchkes.
swag?
Yeah, exactly.
I give away a lot of press launch swag too, but the moleskins, fuck that.
Yeah, you gave
Keeping that
away
shit.
the Lamborghini helmet and the
I did.
backpack, and
the
then
Acura
I had
NSX
those.
helmet I gave away.
I had those, and I offered for you to give them away, and you're like, "No, dude, I have to ship those."
Yeah, it cost me money. But I gave away the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S launch swag was insane.
What was
a
it?
helmet, some kind of fucking boots, a jacket. Like, I mean, just it was like probably $1,000 worth of stuff,
Oh,
and
God.
that all.
Well, you made
away,
somebody
yeah.
very happy.
You know what? I gotta say though, shout out to Honda. The pens that they provided on the Civic Type R launch were some of the best pens I've ever written with. I knew that they were going to be good, which is why I took like 10 of them for the fuckers.
What was so great about
Don't know. It's just the flow of the ink, super nice, extra fine, but like a good grip, nice solid click on them shits. Do we have one here? They're all over. They're fucking all over my office.
They're the CTRs of pens.
So great. It is. It's the Civic Type R of pens. All manufacturers should give away a pen and notebook representation of their product.
Of their vehicle.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
The Bentley one would be really heavy, deluxe,
The pen would be like falling over because you can't like.
made of mahogany.
Porsche gave me a great pen, not on a launch, in a gift of tchotch with my Boxster. Man, Porsche and Mini, they know fucking swag. They know how to do it. They know how to make a customer feel real good.
The best companies give you cash, though. The best companies. Those are,
I mean, yeah.
those are the things we don't do the giveaways for those. We just keep
Bro,
that.
VinFast, ooh baby. No.
Oh yeah.
Have you driven it?
No, but they offered me a fuck ton of money to go to Vietnam and pretend like I care.
Oh,
about
for
their
that
product.
week-long junket nightmare?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that didn't
reviews
look
of
like
that car are
fun.
not good.
I drove it. It's not
did?
good.
It's
Yeah,
not
we just
good?
said EV of the year, and I don't know when you guys are airing this, but we'll announce it
Thursday.
June 28th.
Okay.
So
we're
I
announcing
take it the VinFast is not the EV.
It's safe to say that the VinFast didn't win. But, I drove it. The one thing it does have going for it, it's kind of quiet at like 80, 90 miles an hour on the freeway.
Isn't that a baseline for an EV?
It's a baseline for anything.
for anything, but especially.
But then,
EV?
I mean, you can feel like it's got EPS, of course, and you can feel like the stepper motor, the assist motor working. It's a mess. Yeah, Ezra Dyer wrote a piece on Car and Drive.
Oh, I bet that's probably the one.
funny.
That's
It's
probably
up
the
there.
one to read.
Yeah,
I
and
was
the
at-
headline for the print story is "Not so fast."
Right. Yeah.
Because they're going
Writes
into
it-
building
writes
cars.
itself.
Yeah.
Who was it? Ewing, Steve Ewing, or was it who wrote a piece for Jalopnik about it that was fucking brutal? I think it was Steve Ewing.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a great car, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, I guess.
What's the worst
Yeah,
thing
that's
in the
what I'm
world? Just the
wondering.
worst
It's not
thing in
an
the world.
old used car,
Right.
but it's not something that
also
particularly rides
expensive
well.
here.
It's really underdamped.
Yeah.
The build quality isn't there. Every time you turn it on, all the safety crap is on, so it's like beeping at you constantly, and the car is so nervous about everything.
Oh, that's not great.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Zach and I at a charging station while we were filming a Volvo hybrid and a Polestar 1 or Polestar 2. A guy rolled up in one, like an actual customer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he actually didn't have. We're talking about anecdote of one person here, but he said it was all right. He didn't like.
It works. It functions.
Yeah,
as
he
a
said
car.
he came out of a Tesla, and he said for his commute, basically, it does exactly the same thing and was like less than half the price of his Tesla.
So we do to test EPA range.
I think it was an 8.
We do, yeah, that's what we had. We do a 75 mile an hour highway test. We do like 200 miles to see if an EV will beat its EPA number or do worse or how much worse. Usually they do worse. There's a handful of cars that have done better.
Porsche Taycan.
Taycan has done better. The EQS has done better. The Benz EQS has done better. But the VinFast beat its EPA number.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Oh, at least.
So it works.
Yeah. At least you get what you pay for in terms of that.
But they're probably such a new car company, they just don't know how to game the EPA numbers yet.
Yeah, right.
But they'll learn.
Let me tell
They'll
you
learn.
guch how it's done in America.
Right.
Here in America, it's about what pencil you can push,
Right, and
to
which
scam
factor?
this
Yes,
system.
exactly. Which adjustment factor you're working?
I mean, it's not like an ugly car. It's just you look at it and you go, it's a car.
Didn't Pininfarina have? Look for the Ezra Dyer one.
If they were, boy,
that's
is that
the
zoomed in?
That's the make model page. See if you can find the Ezra Dyer.
I mean, look for
Review of it.
47 grand, which is cheaper than it's $7,000 less than I paid for a middle of the road Mach-E. It's coming in. It's coming in low.
The one we had was
Tested. VinFast
58,000.
VF8 proves building cars is hard. It's not the first time that's been proven, mind you. It's,
No, of course
pretty
not.
much.
Well, everybody usually pairs up with an existing automaker when they want to build a car.
Right.
You don't just
Right.
build it out of nothing. And that's
Right.
exactly what they did, and that is not an easy thing to do.
Right. Yeah.
Clearly.
So, all right. So that's not going to be the EV of the year.
No, that didn't win.
That's not. But all right, what is in the running? You don't have to tell us who wins. But what is in the running?
The GV7 GV70 electrified.
Okay.
The Lyric with dual motor. What else? EV6 GT.
Okay.
The VinFast.
It had to be brand new for this year.
Yeah, or
Okay.
heavily revised.
Yeah.
Like we considered the Cadillac because it gained the extra motor.
Oh, I think I've seen 2 Lyrics on the road. It might as well be brand new for this year.
Yeah, I think the battery issues that they had with the Ultium battery have kept that and the Hummer sales real low. But once they figure that out, they'll start.
I haven't
coming out.
seen one Hummer.
Yeah, I think they sold some ridiculously low number, like a handful of them, like less than 10 in the first quarter, and I think that was all battery issue related. So,
okay, that's a whole bunch of shit. I don't think I've driven a single thing on that list.
oh yeah,
Not one. I mean, I
Ioniq 6. Have you driven Ioniq 6?
no. I don't think people don't really come to our channel for EVs for the
Right.
most part. They, with the exception of like Taycan and RS e-tron GT,
Right,
like
the
unless
real
it's real
performance stuff,
fast,
yeah.
people don't really come to us for it. Like we did what I think is a really well done video of the XC40 Recharge, which is kind of a lovely little car, but 6 people fucking watched it. It's just we can't.
Right.
We just can't do
the
it.
enthusiasts just aren't there for
and
it.
we should probably do EV6 GT. That one's pretty fast,
Yeah,
so
it's
that's
really quick.
probably worth doing. But if you can't talk, we don't want to give away the story. But what kind of trends are we seeing across that crop of cars? How many of them have start buttons?
I saw you were talking about that.
Yeah.
Not many have start buttons.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And then that's always weird. Like that was one of the weird experiences with Tesla when it first came out, when the Model S came out, was you just walk away.
Yeah.
And you didn't turn anything on, you didn't turn anything off. And there was a way to go through the menu and turn the car off, which is what I would do because I like to have things on and off.
Yeah.
And but yeah, most of them don't have that anymore. And then they all have weird shifters. They all have silly door handles. They all have glass roofs.
Yeah.
We had the Lucid Air, the base Lucid Air, but dual motor, which is a fantastic car.
How much is it?
As tested, I think it was 110.
Oh,
But the
now
base
we're-
for
we're
the dual
talking.
motor was like I think just under 100,000. I want to say.
Now
I
we're
can't remember.
talking.
Yeah, it was a cool car.
Yeah.
And it didn't have the big glass roof.
Oh,
It had
nice.
like a regular roof.
Regular roof?
It was built really nice. Like, it
that's
was a
good.
really nice car to drive. I
Yeah,
really
that's
liked that.
cool. The Lucids, when we drove them, it's like it felt like a $120,000 car that cost $190,000.
Right.
Which was a problem.
With a very expensive battery, yeah.
Yeah, it was a problem.
Well, that's how the first Model S's were. It was like, a $50,000 car that cost $80,000
Yeah.
because you're buying a $50,000 car with a $30,000 battery.
Yeah. Sorry, folks. Got to take a quick break from the action for Blackview dash cams. Are you tired of driving with your fingers crossed, hoping nothing will happen on the road? Do you wish you could drive worry-free, knowing you have an extra set of eyes watching over your vehicle? All you need is the new Blackview DR970X dash cam, which combines 4K video quality, reliability, and cloud connectivity in one compact package. Whether you're a professional driver or a cautious car owner, the Blackview DR970X is the perfect companion for your journeys. With its state-of-the-art technology, this dash cam captures everything that happens on the road in stunning detail, providing you with crystal clear video evidence in case of an accident. And thanks to its cloud connectivity, you can access your footage from anywhere, anytime, using that Blackview app. Rest easy when you leave your car parked outside. The DR970X comes with native parking mode, which means it can be hardwired to your vehicle's fuse panel out of the box while preventing your car's battery from draining. Parking mode will activate automatically when the ignition is switched off and keep guard on your vehicle. Thanks to the video buffer, the few seconds leading to impact on motion detection events are also recorded. That means in case of a hit and run on your parked vehicle, you'll have video proof of exactly what happened before and after the fact. Paired with Blackview Cloud, your dash cam will automatically save event videos to the cloud in real time, just as they happen. That way you could have valuable evidence even if your dash cam gets unplugged or stolen. The DR970X series comes in single and dual camera versions. The front camera captures every little detail in crisp 4K UHD quality, and the rear camera comes with a full HD Sony Starvis image sensor, ensuring best clarity under any light. There's also a version for taxi and Uber drivers with an infrared driver-facing camera. Get the best dash cam protection and reliability on the market today with the Blackview DR970X series dash cams. Go to blackview.com/TST. That's BLACKVUE.com/TST to learn more about the Blackview DR970X series dash cam. Promo code TIRE gets you 10% off any Blackview dash cam or parking mode accessory. Free shipping for over $200 orders. We are also brought to you by Game Time. I love Game Time. Game Time made it so easy for me to get some courtside WNBA tickets for my wife's birthday last month. It was awesome. It was usually buying tickets can be stressful, right? You gotta like race people, to buy them when they go on sale, and then you're waiting maybe to the last minute, hunting down the best price. You got to compete with everybody else for a popular event. It shouldn't be. It should be easy, and that's where Game Time comes in. It's the fast and easy way to buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. There's crazy deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, so you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped through the fun you have. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have. Game Time has amazing, easy interface that shows you where the seats are with images of the seat views of the stage, of the court, of the field. They've got that lowest price guarantee. They've got event cancellation protection. They've got job loss protection, etc., all built into the app. And it is the place for last-minute ticket deals, so you don't have to plan months in advance. They've got deals on tickets right up until the day of the event. You can get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. And that Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. That's why it is the fastest growing ticketing app in the country. It's for a reason, folks. Get those tickets without stress on Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code SMOKINGTIRE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account with Game Time, download that app, and redeem code SMOKINGTIRE for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Now back to the show. I guess, I don't know, some people got, real fucking mad at me for not liking the car that doesn't have a start button, but maybe it's because we literally do things with cars that other people don't do, and that's why other people might like have no reason ever for the car to be on if they're not driving somewhere, or for the car to be off if they're like.
Well, BMW's done that for a while, where you turn the car off and the phone and the connection stays on, and then you get out of the car.
Well,
and
look,
it
if
continues.
you came from a BMW, I understand your hatred of the start button. BMW fucking ruined the start button. It doesn't mean what you think it means there.
I've been told you can change all that shit.
You can turn it off.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like going through the menu through it to do it. But you can totally do that, so that the car, as soon as you hit the ignition to shut it off, shuts off the infotainment.
And there were other people who said, what do you need a start button for? Anything that I complained about, you could do through an app. Which,
oh, right. Yeah. But you're in, if you have the car for a week, you're not downloading the app. It's a car writing problem.
Right.
Yeah.
True. It is a car writing problem, but also, like, I don't want to have to go through the app for basic shit in a car. Like, it's nice if the app is like a bonus where you could do like more, but like, don't take shit away from the car and then bury it in the fucking phone app.
Yeah, but that's the whole move away from buttons. That's the whole move away from putting everything on screens.
The great, you know, they talk about the great resignation, about the great fucking cheapening,
and then
the great cash extraction.
Like you guys, I'm always in different cars. And I wrote a column about After 10 Best, because I'm cycling through all these cars, like 40 cars over a week. And when I get in a car, I set it up for myself in a very particular way. And so it's basically like a pre-flight checklist of all the things I have to do to get the car set up the way I like it. And it just takes forever. And I remember, I mean, yes, granted, it's a car writing issue, but it's just cars have so many adjustments that it's just like a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, if you, like with a Mercedes especially, because Mercedes has like a dozen ways to set up everything but like, if it was your car, you'd probably do that once.
Yes, you'd Ron Popeil it. You'd set it and forget it.
Right. But like, I get so fucking mad when the option to do something, when a manual override is taken away. You know, like, it doesn't matter whether it's wipers or headlights or whatever. Like, auto is good, but you don't take away the manual also. Like, there's nothing bad about
you're talking about that with headlights.
Headlights,
yes.
wipers,
where you can turn them on.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, there's always a manual override.
Right.
Like, so, like, fine. If people like it, where they can.
Well, the car should do your bidding.
Yeah, yes.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
A car should always do exactly what you want.
Right.
And if you can do something better than the car, you should be allowed to do something better than the car.
Right. Like, PDK is great in sport auto, but not better than fucking me.
Right.
I can see 2 corners ahead.
Right. I know exactly what's going to happen. Yes.
Now.
Yes.
You know, like,
and you're just doing it based on how hard I'm braking.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, like, I have yet to find a gearbox that is actually better than me, even though some people that, you know, aren't as good.
Well, I was at Lightning Lap this year, and one of our staffers who was going to drive GR Corolla, Elantra N, and Civic Type R was sick, so he couldn't make it. So I went, and so I drove 3 manual cars at I hadn't driven a manual car at Lightning Lap at VIR in, I don't know, 5 years maybe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it'd been a while. So, and then I had 3.
Why? Because you only drive the fastest ones?
Well, I was for a while. I was driving the really fast stuff, and then I was like,
not since the ACR Viper have you driven a manual car at Lightning Lap.
No, I think the last one I drove, I think we had a manual Camaro ZL1 1LE. Yeah, we had a manual one of those.
Those are lovely.
Yeah, that was a sweet car.
Yeah.
But anyway, those cars, you know, you got to keep them on boil.
Yeah.
They don't have a huge power band, so it was just like endless shifts, endless work. And I was like, save the manuals, you know, and then in parentheses for the street.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of work on a racetrack. And then you introduce the element of you could make a mistake and you blew your lap.
Yeah.
And then your lap time is screwed.
No, on a racetrack, I totally get it. On the street, though, 100%.
Yeah. It's just more fun.
Yeah, of course.
I still haven't owned an automatic car. I still all manuals.
You never owned an automatic car?
Never owned an automatic.
Oh, good for you.
Never owned an SUV.
Oh,
all
right.
manual
cars. All right. I'm approaching 100% mid-engine.
In your fleet?
Yeah. I only have if we count my wife's cars, there's 2 front engine cars.
And
out of 8.
the Delica is technically mid-engine.
The fuck, technically, that is mid-engine. No, it's not technically. That is a mid-engine car. And I just bought another. I sold a front engine car and got a mid-engine car.
What'd you sell?
I sold my M3.
Oh, you
BMW
did?
M3.
You sold it?
Yes, I did.
The enthusiast auto car?
Yes.
The E46. You just weren't driving it enough?
It was too precious, too precious and too good. And the trade-off in, if you're going to have something that precious and that good, it should be like a fucking 60s Ferrari or something.
Right.
Where you
the
get
Ferris Bueller car.
Yeah, where you get in and it's a mind-blowing experience.
But there you're just driving a 20-year-old M3.
Well, it's his daily. I mean, it's like I've got this precious thing and he's like commuting to work in the same car. It's a little silly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, got rid of that.
Why did you buy it? Because that was the best M3 in your opinion?
Yes, and I still stand by that.
Nah, I'm E90 all the way.
That's okay. That's a respectable stance. After that project car thing we did, I drove the shittiest E46 on the planet, and it was great. And I was like,
because you didn't care?
It was just so well made.
Oh,
it didn't rattle or squeak, and I was like, fuck, if this is what a shitty one is, imagine the best one.
Right.
So I bought the best one. But that was a strategic error. But it's okay.
Yeah, that's like, I just sold my Miata to one of our photographers. I had a 95 Miata with the 1.8. Mm-hmm. And so that was sort of like, it wasn't in perfect condition. I didn't worry about it because the value was low. And that's the car I drove the most, and that's the car I enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
Because I didn't care. I'd go park it. It didn't matter. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to have to care that much.
No. And I beat the crap out of it. It was perfectly reliable, so easy to work on. There's like, you take 3 wrenches, you can take the whole car apart.
Mm-hmm. That's my Ferrari 328. It's like not original paint, mechanically excellent, and like don't have to care that much. Like, I mean, it's nice, but like it's got rock chips. Like, it's like not too nice to do anything in. So
no, exactly.
That's the experience I want.
James Lipman, the photographer who bought it, you probably worked with James.
James bought it?
Great.
And
then he put his barge, remember he had that Roadmaster?
Yeah, he got big money for it.
He did. He sold it on Bring a Trailer. He put his barge personalized plate on the Miata.
That rules.
But he keeps texting me like, "Oh my God, this car is the best."
Yeah, they're good. They're great fun. I've seen a few Miatas around the last couple of days, and I've sort of been like, as they go by, I go, everyone who I see driving one looks like they're having fun. I was just on Tail of the Dragon for that road and track thing, and there was a whole like Miata club. There's like 30 of them, fucking mobbing, having the best time.
Yeah, the move to Michigan called for me cutting that car loose.
Yeah.
But I didn't really look at values. I should have. I was like on a plane texting him, had a few drinks, and I gave him a price, and then like I looked later, I was like, ooh, I could have made a little more off of this.
Did you sell the E30 too?
No, I still have that. That's up in Santa Barbara. I want to put that up on Bring a Trailer. But that's sort of your E46 problem.
Yeah, it's too
nice.
Like
I drive that thing and all I do is worry about it.
It's a little too nice, but it's fucking rad.
It's pristine.
Yeah.
It's the sorority girl.
Maybe you should sell it and buy a less nice one.
No, the less nice ones are horrible.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
The problem with that is
because even the really nice one has no structural rigidity.
Right.
The powertrain is the magic of that car.
Right. Yeah. The one is like you put S54 in that shit. And now we're talking.
It's true.
Proyecto Auto.
It's really dangerous and really fast because they don't have very much on the braking side.
Yeah. Super dangerous. Good time. It's a really good time. I love that level. That level of danger is right.
Yeah.
It's about.
Just exciting enough.
Right? Is Lightning Lap soon? When is it?
No, Lightning Lap was last fall. So the issue came out. It was the February-March issue.
Oh, all right.
And because
the Z06 was the thing, right?
Yes. And it was quick.
It was real fast, right?
I drove the front engine ZR1, the C7, and it ran. What did it run? Like a 30. I want to say 38, but maybe it was a 39. But anyway, I was like waiting for Casey because Casey Colwell drove. Our executive editor drove the new car, the Z06, and I was just like, "Don't beat my time! Don't beat my time!" But he did.
He did. Though.
He beat it. I think he beat it by a second or 0.9 seconds.
Yeah.
So
and he was just ZR one time in. Was it 2018? Was 239.5.
Yeah, and I think he ran a 38.6. So
that car is fucking
amazing car.
Really, really
amazing
good.
car.
Yeah,
huge though. It's a big car.
It is a big car, but it shrinks around you on the track.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't.
It does. And it's got so much grip. I mean,
It doesn't. Did you drive GT3 RS yet?
No, I haven't driven
that
GT3
feels
RS.
huge.
I've driven GT3, but I haven't driven GT3
The RS
RS.
feels huge.
Yeah.
Real. I mean, it's.
But then you slip on a Cayman. A Cayman is just...
It's the right car.
It's the sweet spot.
Right car for everything.
Yeah, we have a long-term 4-liter GTS.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it a cool color, too?
Aventurine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is a cool color. Yeah. When we did a Cayman GTS video recently, I remember looking up your long-term. And you guys have put a fucking ton of miles on it, too, right?
Well, we put 40,000 miles on all our long-term cars to really... And, 40,000 journalist miles are like dog years.
That's a lot.
It's 7 times 4.
Yeah.
So.
But the GTS is like, for street drive, that's the right
so
one.
Wonderful. It's perfect size.
Yeah.
You got the big frunk, you have a Boxster.
I know, and it's the right car for
magic.
almost everything.
And then you drive that, and then you drive, I like the 991, but you slip a 991 on, and it just feels like you put on your dad's sport
Or
coat.
992, it feels huge.
I'm sorry, 992.
992
Yeah,
is a
exactly.
big
yeah,
car.
yeah. You put on you drive the 992, and it's you're wearing a suit. That's just
someone
a little too
on
big.
on Instagram or something fucking tried to DM me and be like, it's only 3 inches wider. It's like, do you know how much that is in car?
And it feels really big.
It does.
Yeah.
It's a big.
It's
is a big
spacious
car,
and it's big, and they did it for the race car too.
Yeah.
The race car needed a wider track.
Yeah.
And to work, and the GT3 is magic. But
It drives
when you're driving
good,
around,
but
it's a much
big.
bigger car than the Cayman.
The Angeles Crest Highway is the same width it's been since 1985. Or probably before,
Right.
And so to drive a car from the 80s or 90s on that road, and you can run a line in your lane, versus dude, when we took these fools on this road and track thing we just did, the Smoky 600 down Tail of the Dragon, they're in almost all of them are in new-ish, last 3 years, 4 years. Cars. The folks in the 992s and the front engine Ferraris and that kind of stuff, those are huge cars on that road.
Yeah.
I drove a Panamera and it's like a huge car on that road.
Where did you guys drive? Through Kentucky and Tennessee?
We started at NCM because it's the only good track in that area, and it is a great track.
It is a fun track. For the amount of real estate they had, the way it doubles back on itself is just awesome.
And for an otherwise flat piece of property, it's got elevation, which is pretty cool. It's a lovely track, and the people there were so nice. We started there. We went to Louisville, and then Lexington, and then Knoxville, and then Tail of the Dragon.
There's so many great roads. All the back roads there.
Yeah,
because
when I was Skyway, we had a 20-mile uninterrupted run that was awesome. The Skyway rules.
Yeah, when I worked at Automobile in the early 2000s, we would do Automobile All-Stars down there.
Mm-hmm.
We'd spend a week down there driving 15, 16 of the year's new cars to pick the All-Stars. And I just fell in love with it. The roads are so
fantastic.
good.
Even
so
Kentucky, Kentucky is a state with no money. Their budget is fucked, and yet somehow their tarmac is
they don't
really,
have giant
really
trucks
good.
driving over it all the time, just pounding
Even on
into
even on their highways, it was pretty good. I was impressed at their tarmac. Tennessee as well. Tennessee's roads
Tennessee's
were great.
a great state.
Yeah, their roads were awesome, and it was very green, very lush. It was really nice. Tail of the Dragon got busy though.
It is, and it's so tight.
Yeah,
it's just tight.
I was by
corner.
myself in the car in a Panamera, driving a pretty reasonable speed, and I had a headache by the end of it. I wasn't really.
No, the roads around the Tail of the Dragon are actually more fun because they're not as you're not just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
The Skyway is amazing.
Yeah,
that's 45 miles of just perfect.
Yeah, we've
Everything
done comparison tests down there, and then Southern Ohio has some spectacular roads. The roads around Athens was that was our comparison test haunt for years and years and years, and still is. We'll still go down there.
Mm-hmm. It was good. It was a good event. And we are doing, for those who care, at experiences.roadandtrack.com. Next, we got one spot left for Hudson Quattrocento in October, and then we're doing Colorado next September.
Oh, that's a new one, right?
That's a new one. We got 2 new ones, Colorado and Arizona High Desert. So Colorado will be Colorado Springs, Pikes Peak, Vail, Aspen, And then Arizona will be Scottsdale, Sonoma, Zion, Vegas.
Nice.
Which, the good way, which will be cool.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. Hudson is October 17th to 20th. Come drive with me. I'm making the route this week.
Yeah, we just had a reader event. The guy who has the school at VIR wanted to do a lightning lap, but for civilians. Like, so people come out and pay. And so we worked with him on it.
Not in press cars, in their own cars.
No, in their own cars.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't really run the configuration. You can't run the grand course easily. Because it's it has the Patriot course. It's not the full course.
You have to rent.
It's longer.
You have to rent both tracks.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So he gave readers the opportunity to do it. We had done it, I think, once or twice before, but it was only open to people who had done 5 track days. And that's not a lot of people, as you know.
Yeah.
So we opened it up to novices this time, and around 60 people went. And I've gotten some feedback from it because I read like all the letters that come in.
So they went from 0 to time attack?
What do you mean?
Like they?
Oh, the novices? No, they did like lead follow and stuff,
okay.
and they had the
All
option.
right.
I think they had the option of having instruction in the car,
Oh, okay.
and then they had a novice group.
So it was the lightning lap experience, not actual.
Yes,
okay,
but there are a few people who really work really hard to beat our lap times.
Oh, and did anybody?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody did this time, but before there was a Viper ACR guy that beat us.
Okay,
but often they're like, how?
Yeah.
Like, you guys are cheating. And they're like, no, there's a YouTube video that shows the lap.
Also, we practice this all the
right,
time.
and also I have over 2,000 laps there.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've done this for a long time.
Turns out knowledge is cumulative, and yeah.
And also, when you're not driving your own personal car,
right,
you can really feel like you can wring it out.
Yeah. Most of the folks who did we do lead follow, and we have some. There is an advanced group if you are that, but most of the people who do it have very little track experience.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Which is fine. Whatever. Cool.
They learn though.
Yeah, and we do autocross, and we had James Hinchcliffe out there giving ride-alongs in a C8 and, scaring people.
Yeah.
Normally I do ride-alongs as well, but for reasons that don't really matter, Porsche didn't want me to be lapping the Panamera with passengers, which they probably because they know exactly what I would be doing. Guys, got to take a quick break for Bird Dogs. I love these shorts and pants. They are great. They sent me some shorts. They sent me some pants. I've been wearing the pants on hikes, been wearing the shorts in the gym, and actually in the pool too. They make a good bathing suit. They really do. Bird Dogs make you look good. Their stretch khaki shorts are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you a truly sculpted look. Even for me, I don't have slim thighs and leg, but that doesn't mean that I need to wear big, bulky, boxy shorts. Shape is good, even if you're a bigger dude, right? Bird Dog shorts, they do the same thing as the Lululemon shorts, but they fit way better. And they fit better than regular shorts made of stiff, restricting cotton. Bird Dogs fix the issue by inventing a cloud knit fabric that looks just like khaki, but stretches so you can get a slimmer fit without having to sacrifice movement when you sit, when you work out, when you run, when you're driving. Bird Dogs has an anti-stink, sweat-wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long. Plus, super comfortable. They're just super comfortable. I wear the pants on the hikes, especially now. They haven't mowed the trails in a while and edged them. And so there's lots of overgrown kind of tall grasses and stuff, and they get pollen, and I don't want to get ticks, any of that. So I've been hiking in these long pants, which is weird for me. But the Bird Dogs pants, they breathe really well. They keep me dry, and they protect me from the sort of elements on the side of the trails. And those shorts are great whether I'm doing elliptical, whether I'm doing PT, whether I'm working out with my trainer, or even if I jump in the pool. They do work as a swimsuit, actually. They got multi-purpose going on over there. Go to birddogs.com/tire and enter promo code TIRE for a free Yeti-style tumbler with your order. That's birddogs.com/tire and get that free Yeti-style tumbler with your order. You won't want to take off those Bird Dogs once you put them on. You will be addicted to them. And now, back to the show.
Yeah, but it would probably end up selling some Panameras.
Bro, that Turbo SE hybrid, god damn, is that a good car?
It's over 600 horsepower, isn't it?
Yeah, it's over 600 horsepower, 35 miles of electric range, tons of ways to set the car up. Really, really comfortable. Really
huge bandwidth on that car.
huge bandwidth. You know,
You can drive it as an electric car. You can drive it as a sports sedan.
and it's really easy to, you know, it can charge itself if you wanted
right, if
to.
you go into that mode,
You can
yeah.
go into charge mode.
Just like the
and it'll-
918.
Yeah,
918
and
did
it can
that.
charge itself. And you know, if you don't give a shit about, like, you know, finding somewhere to charge it, you just drive it as a gas car if you want, or if you want to be maximally efficient, you plug it in, charge it up real quick. I did manage to find somewhere to charge it in every city.
Really?
Yes. Not at every hotel I was at, but within a few blocks of the hotel, I managed to find somewhere to
I had
charge
an
it.
i7 and I went to a public charger, and there was two. What's the standard whatever the standard
1772.
Yes, 1772. And next to it were four Tesla chargers.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a Tesla Model S 60, so I don't think they still had the free charging, plugged into the other ones.
That's pretty funny.
And it was like, come on.
That's funny.
I need to charge this i7 and you're hogging this charger.
That's really funny. Well, this is what's going to happen the other way now. The Tesla people are going to start getting real pissed.
Yes, exactly.
That now the other people, the people that aren't in the cult.
Right.
Oh, these were only for the cult members before.
Exactly.
Now they're for everybody.
Now they're open to GM and Ford.
Yeah. How do you think this is going to unfold?
I don't know. It's not good for the old standard. Because I mean, the Tesla ones work.
They do, but you have to ask yourself: do they work because
When-
they're better, or do
right.
they work because they only have
Because
to
there
deal
aren't
with
as many Teslas. Yeah.
Well, just because they only have to deal with one type of car.
True.
You know, if you
yeah,
have to
and the
deal with all the
handshake.
cars-
Yeah, the handshake has to be done properly.
Right.
The payments have to be done properly.
Right. Here's what's going to happen. It's going to be so expensive to charge a Ford or GM at a Tesla supercharger. So expensive. They're going to fucking squeeze these guys for every cent of investment they have to make, and then some.
Right.
But it just like, and if like more chargers are good. So like in the short term, I think it's good for Ford and GM customers to have access to more chargers. But like, if we're gonna like let capitalism sort this out, then it really puts a fucking nail in the coffin of the story that we're being told about how important it is to switch to electric cars.
Well,
Like,
also-
there needs to be a standard.
I've done a bunch of interviews. It's like the mainstream world, the mainstream media, to use that term, not a great term, but they have now realized, like, oh, wait a minute, electric cars are kind of a pain.
Yeah.
Like, yes, there's charging issues. The infrastructure isn't quite there. And it's like these problems, when they start scaling up, are going to become real huge problems. And they're like, hey, this isn't what we were promised. And I've done a bunch of interviews about that. And it's like, yeah, it's not quite there. We're still in the early adopter phase.
Right.
Like,
but they're mandating
right. It's coming.
the phasing
Yes, it's
out
coming.
of gasoline
Yes.
before the rest of it is ready or even close.
Do you know John Volker?
Yes.
Yeah, John Volker, brilliant guy. He's one of our contributors. He came out to EV of the Year, and one of the most interesting conversations I had was he sees a world where, yes, EVs are mandated in. They're regulated in. But like now, you have these heavy trucks, like pickup trucks, that have weighed out of a lot of these emission requirements. They've weighed out of CAFE. And so he's like, I see a world where there are people who didn't want to switch to EVs, and they're buying these big...
They're all buying Super Duties.
Yeah, they're buying Super Duties and HDs, and yeah, and so he's like, so you have this world where there's these customers that are buying gas and diesel, heavy pickup trucks,
And they're offsetting all the emissions of the EVs. That's funny and probably true.
but it's like that's like the unintended consequence of the regulation.
But
It's
like we could change that. Like we could change that regulation so that a Super Duty isn't fucking tax deductible.
well, there's that, but it's also it just weighs out of a lot of stuff.
Right.
So-
Like we could, based on the trends of increased weight of passenger-oriented vehicles, like we could make it so there's a penalty for that, or
Yeah, maybe so. But the appetite is there, especially if there's no competition. And there
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be a ceiling for how expensive these luxury heavy-duty trucks can be.
True. Yeah,
So,
true.
I mean, there's $100,000 ones.
I spoke to somebody recently who writes off his Rolls Royce, who depreciates his Rolls Royce because it is over 6,000 gross vehicle weight.
Oh yeah, of course.
Fucking Rolls.
I just drove a Phantom 2.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a car!
I mean, yeah, they're awesome. Like, I'm not saying that Rolls Royces shouldn't exist, but you should not be able to depreciate
that's not
that
who
as
it's
a
for.
business
Yes,
expense.
that's not who it's for. Yeah.
Like, I think if it's fucking street legal and you don't, you need to. If
his business was wedding
requires a
cars?
CDL, then you can depreciate it. Was what?
One of his business is wedding cars.
Oh well, then all right. If you commercially insure it, yeah, okay. Yeah, if you should need a CDL to depreciate your car.
Yeah, Phantom 2, man. Multiple people that rode in it were like, "Is this an electric car?" And I was like, "Nope."
Well, that's actually
listen to this.
That's
And then
kind
you
of
hear the intake a
interesting
little
because
bit.
like when you take like a Hyundai and make that electric, the jarring change of going from like a buzzy little 4-cylinder
Right.
versus a Phantom.
Right.
When I talked to Hannah Elliott, who went down to South Africa to drive the Spectre thing, I was like, how was it? She's like, kind of the same as the gas one, actually. It's not that much different.
Right, so they'll make that transition pretty well. And I can't imagine Rolls-Royce customers go on long road trips, so they're not going to encounter range anxiety. They're not going to encounter the pain of that.
No, I'm surprised it took them so long.
Yeah.
Honestly.
They will love not having to go to the gas station and interacting with the commoners.
Well, do you think they go to the gas station?
That's a good point. That's a fair point.
Right.
It'll be so nice. We had the Continental GTC Speed, last week?
Yeah.
And it was an amazing car in so many ways. But the engine note, to me, is so boring. Of just like, it's like two V6s that somehow cancel each other, like Bose headphones.
Right.
So make that electric.
The two VR6s.
I won't miss anything from the
That
engine
engine's about to retire.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's why with the Bentley, the V8 is actually the one you want.
The corporate V8.
Yeah.
That's in everything.
I mean, it works great,
No, it works
makes
really
great
well.
power, it sounds nice. Like, ain't nothing wrong with that V8. Like, and it's like, it's not like it doesn't feel awesome. Like, I drove the V8S and it was fucking great. Like, there's nothing gained with the 12 in that car.
No, I forget. We tested both of them, and I can't remember. The W12 might have been barely quicker, like by a tenth or two.
Yeah, I mean,
Literally
even
a tenth.
and then like
Average at least.
in the quarter, it's going 3 miles an hour
Yeah.
faster in trap speed.
And
Like,
top
that's
speed
it.
is 1 mile an hour faster. So
Is it
the
really?
V8
No,
actually
I think it was
gains that.
10. I think it's
it was
10. I think it was 197 and 207. Like, it doesn't.
I thought it was
like,
208 and
who
207.
gives a shit? Like, it doesn't matter. But
But I said it was only 1, so I should probably look that up.
in my in-car, I said 10. So maybe just cut to me. Cut to me
Might not be
during
right.
that one. It's 10, right? I think it's 10. Anyway.
Yeah, you were talking about what the M5 V10 M5 that didn't have a governor that you ever found, right?
Never. They were claimed it was a governor that I don't think it had.
I mean, we tested that car in period, and I'm
You ever hit a
guessing
limiter?
I don't know. I'm wondering. I didn't look it up, but I thought about that because I had an M3 Touring in Europe a couple months ago.
Oh, the new one?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
What a car.
Yeah.
What a spectacular car.
Does the wagon make up for the schnoz?
Yeah,
does,
totally.
right?
It's fine. And I'm getting used to the schnoz, to be honest.
Oh, I'm not.
Really?
I'm not.
I'm getting used to it.
There
And
was a guy at the HRE open house who made a new front bumper for that car.
Oh, just fix
and
it?
he was like, I wouldn't say fixed it. He made an attempt, and he goes, "What do you think?" And I go, "It's better. Like it wasn't great. It was like a bar that it split the center. Apparently, you need that lower mouth for cooling. So you can't just go back to the
arrow.
old mouth.
The
right?
arrow's all set up that way. Yeah.
So anyway, M3 Touring.
Oh, it was spectacular. And the attention it got in Europe. Like, I might as well have been driving like a GT3.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people really get it. And it's got the great fender flares. Like, it's a spectacular car. I love driving it. I like driving it more. We had a long-term M3 manual.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, that wagon was just a little bit sweeter.
Was it a competition?
Yeah.
We didn't like the non-competition car. We felt like they rubbered it up somehow.
Well, there was all this like weird, like on the highway, there was all this like weird on center play. Like the car was just like, it just never felt like fully sorted.
Yeah.
On track, it was fine. I like the gearbox. I love the powertrain, but the automatic competition wagon, ooh, sweetheart.
That's probably good.
Wonderful.
When I go back to
thing.
Europe this fall, maybe I'll try and ask for one of those.
You should get it.
Yeah.
I picked it up in Munich.
Yeah, well,
Drove
I'm
down the
flying
Alps
through
into
Munich.
Italy.
That's all right.
And then did the did the Austria side and then did the Swiss side on the way back to Munich.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, last year I did it in an Alpina B8, and it was fast.
Yeah.
290 kilometers an hour, and the fucking Autobahn was
Yeah, I think the quickest I went was
excellent.
like 165.
Yeah.
Because I went with my wife, and I was like, we've got to go fast now.
Now, when you see the circle with the three
Right,
lines,
and the beauty of it is like the cars are smart enough now to read the signs.
They know.
And it counts down.
get the fuck out
It
of here.
counts down. It's like 500 meters, 400 meters, and I'm just like, yes.
And they say
yes.
connected cars are bad. No,
That is a
that is a
feature.
good use
That
of
is a
connected
great
cars.
feature. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And then it warns you when it's going to end too.
That's what I need.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I need
Brilliant,
braking.
brilliant.
I need braking boards and a DRS zone indicator, and now we are fucking good to go.
Yeah, because otherwise you just, it's Germany, so everyone respects the speed limit.
Yeah.
And then construction zones have cameras, which I've learned the hard way from a 992 drive I did a few years ago. The tickets just kept coming. And luckily they were really inexpensive. They were only like 20 to 40 euro because I wasn't going
funny.
that fast.
And they were because it was a press car. They were coming from Porsche,
yes,
right?
exactly. So they just kept coming, and I was like, God, I hope this ends. Like, how many of these could I have gotten? Because I drove the car for like 3 days in Germany. And yeah, but they stopped. I think I got 3.
Okay.
They stopped at 3. But
I
was getting a little
had one
worried.
of those ones where I was driving a BMW press car, an M6 in Switzerland, and I got a ticket going 16 over.
Oh my God.
16K over.
And don't the Swiss base it on your income?
No, but it was that's Sweden and Finland. I
Oh, it
think.
is? Okay.
Yeah, but it was €1,000.
Yeah, I was terrified of speeding because I drove through Switzerland in the MV Touring. I was terrified of speeding.
BMW was like, they weren't happy. Like, I was like, why do you care? Like, I'll pay for it. But like, I was surprised at how unhappy
Like
they were.
Well, I mean, whatever. It's an M6.
Obviously, it's
Yeah.
an M6, and like, I'm not gonna like stiff them. Like, I'll pay it.
Right,
but like, they, considering like the circumstances of all of it, and that it was it's not like I was 100 over. It was like
Right. It was 16.
16 is 9 miles an hour. Like, it was not like a huge like deal.
If you were a resident in Switzerland, they would have calculated it.
Oh,
based on your
really?
income, yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
They do something called
Yeah,
a
right?
day fine system, which is calculated on your daily income.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
They
Okay.
divide
Yeah.
that
That's
in
scary.
half, and they multiply that by the number of days you have to pay something.
Oh,
So-
wow. All right.
But you don't live there. So.
Good thing they can't.
I didn't know.
prove
See, I didn't know if
nothing.
that applied to visitors, so I was
What if
very
you have a
careful.
Swiss
It's
bank
with-
account?
No, they can't look in
Now
that.
They'd
they'll
never know.
Now
That's
they'll
the
never
beauty of
know.
the
That's
Swiss
the best
bank.
part. Yeah, that's God. Switzerland is great, except for that.
Except for that.
No, actually, I am pro income based speeding tickets.
Oh, yeah?
I am. I'm pro. Otherwise, like I'm against.
I'm not pro anything on speeding tickets.
No, well, okay, if you want, that's a fair stance. But I'm against any crime of any kind where if you're rich you can just be like, whatever.
Oh, I don't care. Yeah,
I don't
Right.
like that. I think that's just like punishing poor
Yeah,
people.
like when they tell you what the fines are, like in Canada.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I'll pay that.
Was
Yeah.
it Jersey where you can pay double the speeding ticket fine and then
have
it
no
doesn't add
points. It's I think so, but yeah.
Wow, that's brazen.
Yeah. You know why? Because sometimes you just don't want the fucking points.
I got a ticket. I was in a little sliver of Arizona on this really fun road. I drove my 993 across the country last year. And I saw a Charger, and it was blue. It had tinted windows, no external antennas, and I passed. And of course, it was a police officer. And then I did learn that my 993 reads 5 slow.
Oh no!
So
really?
it was even worse.
Oh, you don't want that. It better-
But it was like a traffic school thing.
But on the upside, if it reads 5 slow, the miles go up slower too. So in the long run, it'll actually work out for you.
I guess.
If you do 100,000 miles in that car and it's really only 91,000.
But
But that was like,
2%.
I was like, do I want to ship this or do I want to drive it? And I was like, no, you got to drive it. I mean, how often do you get to drive?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I put
and you're
the
good with that
2,000
car.
miles on it.
Yeah, that's a keeper car for you. So
Yeah,
you care
exactly. I don't really care.
about- Yeah. That car is like nice enough where if you look at it, it looks great, but like not too nice to drive.
Yeah. No, it's fine. And like it lived in my garage long enough that I was banging into stuff.
Oh,
so,
that's the worst.
Yeah. So it's
I
got
damage
it's got
my cars
bumper
more in
scars.
my own garage than I do on the road.
Oh, absolutely. 1,000%.
That's
yeah.
part of my sales pitch for this, for here.
What do
Your
you
car's
mean?
safer.
Oh, your car's really safe.
Your car's safer here than it is in your own garage. You're not dragging groceries past level 3 of the quads here. Not dragging a surfboard or a bike or anything
Right,
like
exactly.
that. Yeah.
Or trying to back in as close to the wall as possible, and then the new tires you put on don't stick out as wide, so then you touch the fender against the wall.
You understand. You should
Not
sell
good.
for me. Should get you down here. Oh, man. So, okay. Since you went to this thing where you got to pitch all the car manufacturers about what you guys are doing this year, let's hear some of the things.
One of the new things we're doing, you remember the old 0 to 100 to 0 test where the Shelby Cobra could do it under 20 seconds or 15 seconds or whatever it was. In the late 90s, we did a 0 to 150 to 0 test with tuner cars. Mm-hmm. And now when that was sort of a high benchmark. But now everything goes 150 miles an hour. So we're like, let's do this. So we're going to rent out
200?
Huh?
So you're doing 200?
No, we're going to do 150.
Oh, okay.
But I'm hoping to get, hoping to get a Rimac.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a Bugatti. But I want everyone on staff that wants to go 200 miles an hour to go 200 miles an hour. Just to say that they did it.
Sure.
I have a job application to give to you.
Yeah.
And then I will retract it.
See, I think this event and Lightning Lap are the best employee retention things we have.
Did Rimac do the 0 to 150 to 0 already? Was that one of their
Probably. They did
records?
everything.
Oh, did they?
They might have.
They set all the records.
Did you drive an Avera yet?
No, I've never. Have you driven it? Is it nuts?
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet.
It's nuts in an amazing way, but it's also, like all other very fast electric cars, when you're not doing the crazy thing, it's normal to the point of being maybe a little boring.
Really? And
Well,
it's
I mean,
because it doesn't have the drama of the engine. Yeah.
Right. When you're just cruising around slowly, it might as well be, 0 to 130, 4.74.
Half mile, 12.8.
Dude, 0 to 130 miles per hour. Is that right?
Where?
Does that say
This is
0?
all kilometers.
No, the column on the right, where fourth from the top. Does that say 0 to 130 miles an hour in 4.7 seconds?
That's quick.
That's
insane.
Fucking mobbing.
They did 0. I think
0 to
is this 0
210.86.
Yeah,
0
that's
to 186
that's
to
spicy.
0 in 15.7.
0 to 186 to 0 in 15.7.
0 to 120 to 0 in 8.85.
And he did the 60 to 130 in 299. I've never seen any road legal car do it
However,
in under 3.
They did not do 0 to 150 to 0.
They
No,
didn't.
they did not.
They did not.
We
They did
will be doing
124
that.
and they did 186.
But I bet the
I bet
Navara-
it'll fall in somewhere in
I
there.
bet the Navara does 0 to 200 to 0 faster than a bunch of cars
most
do
cars.
0 to
Yeah,
150
for sure.
to 0.
Yeah.
What's the closest 0 to
130 to
200? So 0 to 200 to 0 is 8.85 kilometers. 0 to 300 to 0 is 15.68. So
That's
it's
186.
Yeah.
So it's going to be under that.
So it's probably like 12, right?
Yeah.
11 or 12
Maybe quicker, yeah.
to 150. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, we're renting out. There's a airstrip called, I think it's called Oscoda in northern Michigan, and it's surprisingly affordable, and it's
Really?
something like 12,000 feet.
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of those emergency space shuttle joints?
exactly. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's for space shuttle or for like fires or for whatever, but yeah, you can rent it out.
12,000's big. That's a big.
It's so affordable to rent. It's like just a few $1,000s to rent
Really?
it for a day. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So we're gonna go
Where
out
is
there and
it?
play in northern Michigan somewhere. Look it up, Zach.
Well, how do you
I think
spell
it's called
that?
Oscoda, OSCODA.
A Skoda airport. Oh, look at that. There's like a 747 in the fucking picture.
Oh, it's a hub
A
for
Skoda.
Kalita.
Oh, for Kalita? Oh, yeah. I flew on one
But
of them.
you can rent it. Yeah, you flew in the Porsche thing.
Oh, yeah. Were you there? Yeah,
No.
you weren't on that one. Satellite? Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh, man,
It is very big.
I got to zoom out.
Yeah, it's very big.
It's
And the GOC truck driving school is on site.
from
What is
here to
that?
here.
And look, Clark's Marsh is right next to it.
But I think it's like 12,000. I want to say it's 12,000.
Yeah, let me.
Can you do that? How do you do that measuring?
There's a way to measure.
I think you
things
just
in
look it
Google.
up.
It's awesome. I just have to remember how to do it.
I don't know.
Give me a second.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
Couple G's for the day. Is it
Yeah.
exclusive access?
I think so.
That's great.
Yeah.
Runways are fucking fun.
Oh, yeah. They're the best.
If it's exclusive, maybe you can fucking Dorifto the taxiways too.
I guess.
That's when you get. If it's enough for a
That's when you get
747, you
kicked
get a
out.
nice wide run in there. That's why I love like those test tracks in England that are like the airfields because you can just do like these monster slides. Like
We've
that's why all
driven
those
them in-
English guys are so good at drifting. They
We've
have
driven them in
airfields.
Germany. We've tested in Germany, but some of them have like really, really high mu tarmac that just like rips up the tires.
Yeah, Harris destroyed a set of tires in one slide in a Navera.
Well, it's a heavy car.
It's heavy, and the wheel speed was like
Yeah,
140
ridiculous.
miles an hour. Total distance, yeah, look at that. Zach just clocked it out. 2.2 miles.
Yeah.
That's a long ass runway.
That's long, right?
Yeah. It's a long runway.
Yeah, it's
And
like
you got a little overrun.
maybe it's not 12, maybe it's 11 something.
Well, I mean, there's,
Yeah.
You know,
if you
emergency
count the
areas.
emergency runoff, it probably is 12. Cool.
Yeah, so we're gonna go there. We're gonna test.
That's
and,
cool.
That's
And bring back
delightful.
that test and see what happens.
Yeah, you got
But
some.
we'll
You
have-
got overrun on both sides. If you drag it to the end of the road run, it's 2.6 miles,
Now, if you go beyond that,
and then you
you're-
got a lot of grass.
You are
to work
out.
with.
There's a wall.
Oh, there's a wall. Yeah, it
This
does
is
look a
the
little.
SOL
Does look a little
wall.
cracked.
That's probably that wall of lights.
Oh, that's the. But that's the.
Oops. That's the overrun here is the crack part.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so we're gonna go do that. One of the other things we're working on, a lot of in-market shoppers, in addition to the car enthusiasts that love Car and Driver, a lot of in-market shoppers come to our site to shop. So we're doing a bit of a site redesign to make it easier for them to navigate.
Oh, good times.
So that's happening
Yay, web
hopefully
design.
next 6 months to a year.
Cool. All right. I'm looking forward to it.
And then now that I'm more settled in the position, I'm hoping to do more fun stuff at the magazine too.
Dude,
more
take
silly,
it back.
weird
Take
stuff.
it back to the '80s, the early '80s Car and Driver, when it was like a shit show, when it was like almost National Lampoon, but for
Right,
cars.
that's exactly it. I want to do. I think at our best, we're a humor magazine that is also the definitive word on cars.
Do you remember the weed versus alcohol
Yeah.
test? Bring it back.
Yep.
Got to bring it
Yep,
back.
the weed test.
Count me in.
Working on it.
I'm ready.
You ready? No
I'm
panic
fucking
attacks.
So ready, dude. I'll throw in coffee, weed, alcohol, and coffee.
We'll have your notebook. We'll just run your notebook.
What drug?
And then mine will be-
What drug is the best for driving on? We got a bunch on the Patreon. We can get through some of them. And, of course, if you want to get in on the fiesta, patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast. You can get an ad-free listening experience, get the show ahead of time, ahead of everybody else, and, of course, ask questions that we will read on the air. Tom Rosenbaum says, Tony, are there any cars that remain to be checked off your automotive bucket list? Anything goes. Could be old, weird, or foreign. I like how foreign is its own category there. Like, all right,
Well,
boomer.
chances are, if it's weird,
What do you
chances
mean
are,
foreigner cars?
It could be
chances are if it's
foreign
weird, it's
or
foreign.
domestic.
McLaren F1.
Obvious.
Yeah, I've never driven a McLaren
Yeah.
F1.
Does not disappoint.
I did drive a Gullwing last year on the Mille Miglia.
Oh, isn't that delightful?
Which was amazing.
Yeah.
That is probably the most amazing event that there is for cars. The Italians just go nuts and let you race on the streets, basically. The police just shut off intersections. Like, you just run lights. It's just complete insanity.
Yeah, they don't
It
give a
is
fuck, those guys.
So much fun. That's the car. I think it came in fourth in 1955. It's a stock, but competition 300 SL.
That's a
but largely
fantastic
stock.
looking car. I like that there was. Why was there just an X out of the number on the fucking?
Oh, because they were running a different number for the
Oh
race.
wow!
Yeah.
And they were just like, just put an X over it.
Yeah.
Why does it have the half windshield in front of the windshield?
Different car.
No, that's
Oh,
it.
the same
That's
car?
it.
Oh.
It's just a deflector.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I think it's a bug deflector.
Keep bugs off the windshield.
Yeah. But yeah, that car, I mean, it's not ridiculously fast, but the engine sounds amazing. It's so much fun to drive. Has
They're
no
easy to
brakes.
drive.
Yeah, remarkably easy to
Yeah.
drive.
Oh, that's
Very
no
getting fuel.
bumpers and the mag wheels. That's excellent.
I don't know if I put
they
the
mag?
video of me kick. Those are the Rudge knockoff wheels.
They're awesome. That's
But
the right fucking
you just
spec
drive
for that
through
car.
the most beautiful parts of Italy. It was so hot. The next day, so the way they did it was you drive one day, and I drove the whole day. I think we started at around 3 and drove to after midnight. The next day, I slept like 3 hours, and then I drove a new SL 63 followed the route.
Wow.
And I was so exhausted.
So
I
is
got
this the
really
appreciate
sick.
the new SL?
Well, no, I
event?
was so exhausted. I got sick. And then, I mean, look at that. Italy is just so beautiful, and all the cars are just amazing. It's like, I just started to like think like, you know, I can afford a Lancia Appia. Like I can buy a $15,000 Lancia Appia
that
and
will
enter
qualify.
it. Yeah, because it's
There's other stuff.
There it is.
There's
I'm hitting. I
events,
think I'm hitting 100 here at night, and I was wearing driving gloves. I would never wear driving gloves ordinarily, but that is a slippery steering wheel when it's 80, 90 degrees outside, and it helps with the grip. I don't have a ton of upper body strength, so.
Dude, if you're driving a car with a wooden wheel or anything that's old,
That's like a
doesn't-
Bakelite wheel.
Like,
Yeah.
if it's
It
sweaty
actually
and warm,
might
you
be
need
big.
gloves.
Yeah, I think it is
Your hands
Bakelite.
start to sweat, you can get into trouble.
But yeah, I was taking it up to 100 there,
The,
160 kilometers an hour, and the sound is just spectacular.
It is. There was,
What
I
a
think it
car.
might have been Colin Comer or somebody wrote a great article about cars as entry into events. And he was talking about this. He was talking about the Copper State. He was talking about Colorado Grand, stuff like that. And it was like, what is the cheapest way to be approved for this event? And he's like, you could buy like a Triumph
Right.
that raced at Le Mans in the 70s,
Right.
you know, or 60s.
And there are
for
plenty
like
of people that
25
take
grand.
advantage of it.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
are plenty of people that drive really slow, crappy stuff.
Yeah.
But
Like
you're
old
doing
Citroens
it. You're
and
doing
shit.
it.
You're there.
doing it.
You're
yeah.
in the
and
club.
I mean, I've been, around cars, and, my career's been about cars for over 20 years, and that is probably the best thing. And I've done lightning lap like 11 times.
Yeah.
That is the best day of a car that I've ever had in my life. It was life affirming.
Yeah,
Like, it was
Mercedes,
really,
invite
really
me to
cool.
that shit.
Good for you.
I was smiling the whole time. It was just this incredible high. I was completely drained the next day. Like I got sick the next day because I was just like so drained. But you just run on adrenaline. You just run on the joy of being in this incredible car in Italy. It was just
That's
amazing.
very cool.
It was amazing.
Alejandro says, best and cheapest way to get into a V10. It's important to note that he puts best and cheapest in one sentence, and those are, in fact, mutually exclusive terms.
Or something else.
There's the best way to
I
get
think
into a
they
V10.
put a
and then
Triton
the
V10 into the E-Series.
I was going to say Ford van.
Yeah.
Econoline. 100% Econoline all day. That is the cheapest way in. He says Audi R8, BMW E60 M5, or something else. Well, first off, you can get a Viper.
Yeah.
That's a V10. You can get an Audi R8 or a Gallardo.
The second gen Viper is surprisingly affordable.
Yeah. They haven't
like
popped
30
yet.
to 40.
Yeah, they have not popped yet.
And that is a quick car.
Yeah.
And a fun car.
E60
and a rare
M5 sound great. The maintenance is a nightmare
Yeah.
compared to
The electronics will kill you.
Yeah.
There's a reason
They're
you don't
cheap.
see E60s or E65s on the road anymore.
It's probably
I saw an E65 the other day and I was like, tip of my cap
hello,
to you.
sir.
How
Nicely
did you
done.
get that
probably cheaper to
running?
maintain the Gallardo, right?
Huh?
It's probably cheaper to maintain the Gallardo. or
I
the
would
V10.
imagine.
It might
so.
be cheaper to maintain an R8 for sure.
Yeah.
Gallardos are great except 04s.
Yeah,
Couldn't
the
fucking
first year.
give me an 04.
Why?
They're just junk. I mean, they're just when Lamborghini builds a car for 1 year and changes the engine the next year, run. Like you don't want that.
They changed the V10 from 4 to 5?
04 is a 1 year only engine.
What's
It's all-
different about it? Is it smaller?
The displacement is different. The firing
Firing
order is
order's
different. Yeah, it's a whole other different motor. It's
I didn't
not
know
good.
that.
Also, the gear ratios are completely changed from 04 to 05. The 04 gear ratios were so long that they were just smoking clutches.
Yeah, I think first is good for over 60 miles an hour.
which just makes no sense in that kind of car.
I thought about commuting in one, in first gear, just driving freeways all the way to Ann Arbor.
That is a press car. That is a press car. The
Just
life
bouncing
of,
off
that is
the
the
rail.
life of a press car.
That's true.
I mean, I probably would skip the E60 M5, even though the engine itself is cool.
I went on the launch of that car.
Was it great?
It was amazing.
Where was it? Germany?
In Munich. Yeah. We
Just
flew into
fucking
Munich,
Autobahn.
yeah.
I mean, No speed limiter, right?
No. Well, I don't know. I didn't go that fast.
200 mile an hour car.
I didn't go that fast.
That was the first time I went over 200.
At least
was
over
one of those.
150, 160 in that car, and the sound of it.
Over 100, those cars are so fast.
Yeah.
They're really, really fast.
And that's why I picked the E90. I know the E90 V8 is that engine with 2 cylinders lopped off, but the reason I love it the most is because I never drove an E46 in Germany, but I drove the E90 in Germany at least a couple times. And when you redline 4th gear at like 150 and that engine is just screaming,
it's a great motor.
I fell in love.
It's a great motor. But if best and cheapest, I'd say hard to beat a Viper.
Yeah, Viper.
They're
and
durable.
Viper's going to be really
shit.
reliable and good and never do anything wrong.
Yeah. You don't hear about a lot of people like having major problems with like stockish Vipers.
No,
It just doesn't.
It's just the ones with a lot of boost going.
You put
into
turbos
them.
in them and shit. Adam says.
that might have been a reply.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah. Oh, that was a suggestion for the V10. He said Excursion. Yeah. Triton V10. Daniel Flannery says, I want an 80s or 90s Euro manual sports car between $8,000 and $12,000. I've seen some 944s and E30s in that price range. Would you recommend one over the other? I'd rather have a good E30 than a 944.
I like the 6 in the E30. This is a window shop challenge. You guys have been on Window Shop?
Yes, yes, I have.
Where we, the car and driver staff, 5 of us compete against each other based on a challenge like that.
Yeah.
Where we'd pick an 80s, 90s, and we set a budget. And
8 to 12, that's a tough number.
it's going to be some ratty stuff.
It's not
and the
gonna be in great
944 is
shape.
going to need a lot of love, and we'll double whatever you bought it for in terms of maintenance and parts and cost. So I'd go with the E30.
Yeah.
You might be able to, 80s, 90s, you might be able to get a Fiat 500 manual for that. Not in a Barth, but like a newer Fiat 5, I mean, it's not great, but.
2010.
Oh, yeah, in a Barth? Yeah.
Can you get in a Barth for 12
think so.
grand, maybe?
Probably. Those don't have any resale value, do they?
Nah. For 8 to 12 grand? That's a rough number.
That's
especially now,
not a
'cause,
lot
like,
of money.
That was a decent E30 4 years ago when they were still expensive, and now they're probably more expensive.
Maybe a 318.
I haven't looked at 944 prices, though, but I think once you dip down that far,
dude,
you're asking for it.
You're just getting a rough.
It's going to need
intake's
everything.
Gonna cost $2,000 on that thing.
They have timing belts.
How about?
I guess the E30 is.
How about a
TI,
a 318 Ti?
Oh, the little shorty.
The little shorty. Kind of love a Ti.
Yeah, those are cool.
They're kind of cool.
They were all 318s in the States, too.
Yeah. You also might be able to get a decent early Z3, a 4-cylinder Z3.
You could probably maybe find an SLK manual.
Oh, maybe an SLK.
That would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
And it just barely meets the 90s.
Or how about a C230 compressor?
I knew
hatchback.
Exactly. If you go 318 Ti, you gotta go.
You gotta go.
with
A 318 Ti with like an S52 swap is like pretty sweet though.
Yeah, it would be. It would be super
They're
fun.
pretty bitching with they're gnarly with a big motor in them. They're very tail
They're
happy.
real unstable.
Dave K, I assume that this question is for Tony and not us. Have you considered adding more tests in a review to show dynamic handling characteristics of a car? Maybe a slalom or turn-in test with yaw acceleration, steering, or Linpot data? I don't even know what that is. My experience has been that some new cars that do better on more standard tests are often less fun on a twisty mountain pass than, quote, worse cars.
Well,
interesting, the examples.
Yeah. I think the answer is there.
The answer is there.
Yeah.
The examples are cars that do better on standard tests, such as the 911 and M3, are less fun on a tight, twisty mountain pass than worse cars like the 86, Alpine 110, and MX-5.
Yeah.
Do you want to read into that, Tony?
Yeah. Limits.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not, I mean, in a GR86, you're going to be hustling it. In a Miata, you're going to be hustling it, and you're going to be having a lot more fun. It's the slow car fast.
Yeah, or small car fast, light
and
car
lighter.
fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I don't think that the data that Dave is talking about there would actually prove his hypothesis.
No, it's just lighter car, smaller car, slower car, less grip.
Yeah.
Less grip is more fun on the street often.
Yeah.
Now, granted, that comes from somebody who put cups on his car.
On what, your 993?
Yeah.
That's a little too much tire, I think.
I know. Everybody tells me that, but I disagree.
It's a lot of tire.
It woke up the steering feel.
No, but I mean, you can just look at the size of the car and the weight of the car.
Well, that's like what you're talking about with the
Yeah.
992.
Yeah.
We used to do slalom for comparison tests. It's slalom, as you guys know, is very driver dependent, which is why we'd only do it on a comparison test because the same driver would do it.
Yeah, they don't really talk about slalom speed anymore. For a while, there was like, it was a big deal.
And then
remember,
we did
the ZR1, the C4 ZR1 had like a record that stood for a decade or something.
Well, we used to do a lane change test until stability control came into effect, and then we were like, well, it'll go faster if we shut off stability control. But then it's like, how is this a consumer test?
Yeah.
You know, one of the fastest, it might have been the fastest or second fastest car ever to go through the lane change. Have a guess at what it was.
Is it? Well, now that you've said it, we probably will be surprising.
Yes, it's quite surprising.
Acura CL Type S 3.2.
No. Honda Fit.
Oh.
Because part of the test was you wanted a narrow car to go through those gates.
Oh, that's very
And
interesting.
that car is so easy to drive, you could just sort of like fucking slide it through the gates. And
That's
it was,
really funny.
so it was one of the quickest.
So if you had taken like a cappuccino through there, it probably would have.
it would have aced
yeah.
it. Like Caterhams did really well because it's just a
Motorcycles
tiny
do
car.
great.
But that's to this point where it's easier to drive a tiny car.
Right. Yeah. There's some guys in the Midwest who are doing Acura TSX swaps into Fits,
That'd be fun.
and they're like crazy fast.
That would be really fun.
They fly.
Because Fits are really, first generation Fits are really light. Even second generation Fits are really
No, I
light.
raced against those guys in Champ, and their car was insanely fast. It was like the cheaterist cheater thing, and it looked totally stock fit. It was rad. Prashant says, what is the worst car to have ever made it into the car and driver's top 10 list?
Renault Alliance.
There you go. That
The
didn't take very long to think
Yeah,
of
that's
that
an
one.
easy one. Otherwise, we're pretty good. There aren't a lot of embarrassing cars on the list.
It's not like the Motor
The
Trend
Caprice Classic
the
of 1990.
Motor Trend's fucking best car is like it's just a list of fails. It's like their percentage is so bad.
Yeah, they're sort of stuck with looking at what's new that year too.
Yeah.
But
The
I
Caprice-
still don't understand how the Caprice Classic won.
It's a beautiful automobile. You don't know. You really don't get it, do you? You just don't.
Did you, when you brought up the Renault Alliance, did you know that this happened?
Yeah, the Motor Trend
Aaron
added
Gold. That's amazing.
Aaron Gold wrote a defense of this car a year ago.
this. We actually.
Did you guys give it Car of the Year also?
No, we gave it. It was on the 10 best list in
10 best list,
'83.
okay.
Oh, and it
So
was
we
also.
actually-
That's the Motor. He wrote it for Motor Trend.
So Motor Trend gave it Car of the Year in 1983. That's
Yeah, we
why it's
actually
for people
wrote-
listening, not watching.
We wrote a
That's
piece
amazing.
about embarrassing 10 best cars, but the Alliance was definitely on the top of that list.
What a terrible looking car. Oof.
Yeah, during the lockdown, I went down some pretty scary YouTube rabbit holes.
Yeah.
And there was like a dealer training video of Alliance.
Oh man.
And they were like
Great.
doing slalom and stuff, and
I'd love to
against
go
like
find
competition against like Rabbit and stuff. And
That's
it's
pretty
like-
funny. How did it do in the competition?
Oh, of course it did great.
At least all the dealers seem to think so. Sarong says, Tony, favorite cars of all the lightning laps.
It's going to be I'm going to say it's a C7 Corvette. I did the ZR1, I did the Z06, and I did the Grand Sport.
CR1
Those were
was a lot
all,
of car.
Yeah.
A lot of car.
It was a ton of car. Those were all a real challenge to myself. And Jim Merrow, the engineer, was there, like
watching.
Yeah, watching, and also but also
pressure.
coaching. Like I would have my lap, and then he'd bring out his laptop and be like, "Here's my lap. Like it's a lot warmer. You're not getting as quick on the straight, but don't worry about that. Like let's look at these cornering speeds. Let's look at this line here." So I got all this incredible coaching to get that car down, and it benefited my driving in general, and benefited all the other cars I've driven. So. There's a Grand Sport lap that I'm pretty proud of. The ZR1 lap I'm pretty proud of too.
Grand Sport was like a really nice car.
Balance, yeah.
Balance.
Ton of
really as easy to
not
drive
as
as a
overpowered.
Miata.
Yeah, not as overpowered, but tons of grip, tons of tire,
Yeah.
tons of brake. Really a special car.
When I went on the ZR1 launch at Road Atlanta, I was like, okay, this car is finally too fast for the manual gearbox. I was actually nervous driving it because I was like, if I miss a shift here, I'm in big trouble. and it was like it wanted to like spin the rim in the tire. Like
Yes.
it was so fucking gnarly.
Well, that was like
I think it had a special wheel to prevent that from happening.
the
actually,
what was the Camaro
Z28
with the Z06 engine?
the Z28.
Yeah, the Z28 had
It had
ribbing.
the bead
because
like bead locks.
Yes, it did. So that when you hit the brakes, it wouldn't shift the tire on the wheel.
And then, but they had a Grand Sport there. And they were like, if anyone wants to go out in the Grand Sport, just take it. And I went out in the Grand Sport after doing 2 sessions, and I was like, this is delightful.
Well, that's
so nice.
That's what we call the weighted bat. In baseball when they're in the the batter's box and they got the weighted bat.
Yeah.
And then you get in and you hold the regular bat.
Yeah.
That's your experience.
Yeah.
So we do that in Lightning Lap too. You drive something insanely fast.
Yeah.
That really challenges you, and then everything else feels like a golf cart. Almost.
Right. Yeah.
That's the weighted bat effect.
Yeah. That C7 Grand Sport was excellent.
Yeah.
It was a great.
I think it ran a 47 or 46.
A great car. So right balance of everything. Tim A says, in your experience testing cars, can you recall the largest disparities between press cars and production cars? Thinking about juiced up Ferraris or Corvettes with minimal panel gaps.
We couldn't get a Corvette convertible once for a comparison test, so we rented one here in LA.
It was awful.
And it was awful. Yeah. And GM, I don't think at the time wanted to play. I can't remember what the story was. Maybe it was car availability, or they just didn't want to play against the competition. And so we just rented one at one of those places like by the airport, and it was not a nice car.
Yeah. We rented a Corvette, a C8, for a comparison with the Cayman GTS 4.0. And it wasn't horrible. The C8 was definitely held up better than what you would get from Hertz or something.
Right.
And it was also a Z51, which like a Hertz rental wouldn't have been.
Exactly. And this car wasn't Z51,
It was also on the
which was
correct
not
tires
fair
still,
to the
which is shocking.
Corvette.
It was on PS4.
It was on the it was on the right tires. So it wasn't that bad. It didn't feel as. It was a lot of, like, the press cars were all 3LT with leather covered everything, and they really did feel very premium. And this one had like plastic here, and it was like a lesser trim, and you noticed, but it wasn't like a shit box. It wasn't that bad. I've not driven a personally owned turbocharged Ferrari.
Neither have I.
In the canyons, since like I've only driven press cars, so. I don't fucking know.
I don't know. But the Corvette, it wasn't really the fault of the Corvette. I mean, it was an automatic convertible non-Z51, so not a real performance Corvette. And we didn't ever have one of those in the press fleet, so I can't compare apples to apples.
Yeah. Michael Cosgrove says, you guys are familiar with the EV mandates in California from the 90s and early 2000s. How likely will it be for the requirements to be pushed back this time?
I don't know.
I think reasonably likely.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of what I took solace in, the fact that they, the regulations went away when this was announced, the 2035 mandate. But I don't know. We'll see.
I think it's reasonably likely that they'll get pushed back when they realize that they can't meet the targets.
Or everyone's just buying heavy-duty pickup trucks.
And Rolls Royces and Range Rovers.
Yeah. You gave me a good idea there, Tony. I'm going to go shopping for G-Wagons. Trey says, any initial thoughts or reactions to the new Lexus GX that was just unveiled? I think it looks kind of neat. It looks kind of neat.
Yeah. I like my SUVs to look like SUVs.
Sure.
That's one of the reasons I love the Kia Telluride. It's like an upright SUV. Like, it's not trying to be sporty.
Yeah.
SUVs should do that.
Yeah. I don't need my SUVs and sports cars to be the same thing.
No, exactly. And I would never buy an SUV that looked like a sports car.
Yeah.
I would just buy a sports car.
Yeah. I'm okay with SUVs looking
So I
boxy.
love the boxiness. I love the uprightness. I mean, I like Monteros.
Yeah.
I like Land Cruisers. I like the Lexus LX for that reason, because it's an upright truck.
Yeah.
Trucks should be proud to be trucks.
Nice.
They're not fooling anybody that they're.
It's pretty. I mean, it looks like a Japanesey Bronco.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
It is
I'm
cool.
I'm pro that.
We'll see how it drives.
It probably drives like it looks. The last one drove trucky as shit.
Oh yeah, it was very
super trucky.
Yeah, with some of the worst brake pedal feel this side of a Forerunner.
I'm into it, though. I think it looks cool.
It is really cool.
Okay, let's see. Sean says, looking for a family. We got two more. Looking for a family sedan to drive to work when I don't take the classic cars in 5 hours. Okay, all right. Long story short, considering, sorry,
You're a fine editor, Matt.
I didn't read them first, and there was some extraneous information in there.
A lot.
Considering a Lexus GSF, an Audi S6 with a tune, or a 2012 to 2014 C63, which would you buy for $45,000 to have for 2 years and enjoy the drives?
Does all his own maintenance.
Okay.
That Lexus GSF is, I think, the one.
Incredibly underrated car. Naturally
Yeah.
aspirated V8. Really nice interior. I think the design is terrific. But I have a soft spot for what is that engine in the C63, the M156?
Is that the
6.2?
naturally aspirated
Yeah,
6.2?
that is an extreme car, even in its regular form.
Yeah, and it is, but doing your own maintenance, it really, that's going to come to a head if you have to do the head studs in that thing. There's that. I mean, they don't all need that, but
Right.
like it's a thing.
But he's
Like,
going to buy a low mileage one, so hopefully it'll be
Well,
just
Lexus, you might
fine.
not have to do any maintenance.
That's yeah.
C63, you might.
2 years
That's
in a
also different.
GSF, you don't even have to change the oil.
Yeah.
Fucking let it ride, baby. Put it all on black. I think the GSF has the best balance between chassis, space, engine, power, and durability.
And the interior on the GSF is reasonably modern. The interior
Yeah.
of a 12 to 14 C63 is pretty crappy.
yeah, it's not great.
It's not going to feel good when you try to pair your phone to it.
Yeah, right. I get the engine though. The engine,
The engine
is
is
appealing.
seductive as hell, and I love the way those things drive. And I
Yeah.
like smaller cars, but I guess if I was spending my own money, I love that we're not even considering
Yeah.
the S6
The S6 is not all that interesting.
and the complexity of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The driving experience is not anywhere near as exciting as the other two.
Yeah.
And then the engine is far more complex, and the interior is more complex. And
So wait,
Yeah.
is the C7 S6 the V10 car? Is that the 5.2 V10, or is that a
I assume that was the 4.0 T.
the twin turbo
with
yeah.
the dual clutch, isn't it?
Which one is it, Zach?
correct.
Yeah, it's the turbo.
Oh, it is. It's not the
4-liter.
V10 car.
It's the 4-liter.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's not the 5.2.
I would
V10.
be careful tuning that because there's a reason Audi put the full
Oh,
automatic.
he has it with a tune. Yeah, so of course it's turbocharged.
Yeah.
You
I would-
can't tune the 5.2.
The RS6 of that generation got a torque converter auto that was stronger, indicating that
was at its limit.
It may be at its limit. So I would be careful. You don't want to mess with a dual clutch gearbox.
Yeah, I'd say GSF. And it's such a rare
Yeah.
car. The you never see GSFs.
Fucking, they're great.
Yeah.
They're so good. Love GSF. Totally underrated car. Lucas, last question says, what is your favorite scene from The Sopranos? And then nominates when Chrissy runs to the Bing to tell Tony about Vito. I'm not going to condemn the man of the word as some fucking douchebag from Yonkers. That's very funny. Did you watch The Sopranos?
I did. I watched like the first couple seasons, but I watched them like 20 years ago.
Man, you got to rewatch.
Okay.
Got to rewatch. I've rewatched probably 10 times.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
That's why this question is in
That's
here.
why this. I
okay.
just finished a rewatch like a couple weeks ago, all full series, all the 6 seasons. I mean, man, Paulie has so many good lines. It's tough to the intervention scene when they have the intervention for him, and everyone just starts screaming at him about what a disgrace he is. I love that. The Pine Barrens episode where Paulie and Christopher get lost in the woods. I fucking love that shit. Man. Yeah, those are probably my 2 favorite scenes. The intervention scene and then the Pine Barrens episode. Those are my favorite. The Pine Barrens episode as a whole, directed by Steve Buscemi. I think it's season 4, episode 11. If you really want to go.
If you want to go right now.
Fucking bad. If you want to go. Oh yeah, when Tony tells Paulie on the phone about this Russian they're looking for in the Pine Barrens. He goes, "Be very careful. He killed 16 Chechen rebels. He was he was with the Interior Ministry." And Paulie hangs up. He goes, "We're in big trouble, Chrissy. This guy was an interior decorator." That's fucking best. That's awesome. Thanks for coming in, dude.
Yeah, thanks
Good
for having
show.
me. I
Good
love
times.
coming in.
Of course, it's best.
I've been to
Radio
all the
rules.
studios.
And this is the best.
Yes. This is a special one.
Yeah.
I walked right in, and the sound is perfect. And
Shout out to Jay Ryan. And, of course, my contractors who bit special concrete.
And I have not banged the table.
You didn't.
once.
Thank you very much.
I was going to turn this around for you.
Was I banging the table? Only when I was talking about the Sopranos. They talk with their hands, and so will I.
I can get a second sign built for like $8. I'll just have one facing each direction.
Yeah. As we wrap this up, we got to go plug the giveaway. It's an exclusive because we're shooting it tomorrow. We are giving away 2005 Corvette, which we are going to modify in a tasteful and necessary way. GetEnteredToWin.com/thesmokingtire, I believe is the link.
Are the modifications to remove some of the chrome stuff off of it?
Yes. And also
/TST.
/TST. GetEnteredToWin.com/TST is the link. All you got to do is buy one of our coffee mugs with my mug on it. This is one from the last one. That's my dumb face on it. And it's a lovely red Corvette. And we've got all you got to do is buy a mug to get in. There's rules and regulations on the website. Read them all, please.
It's a manual, too.
It is a manual.
Importantly.
It is a V8 manual, 400 horsepower, 3,100 pounds. It's about the right size, power level for the canyons. It's going to be very, very nice. So check that out at GetEnteredToWin.com/TST. Game ends July 19th at midnight. So head over there and do it. Support your favorite car podcast. And we'll have a video, probably by the time this goes up to the general public. The video will be up, right?
Video is going to go up Friday.
Okay, so we'll have a video up tomorrow if you're listening to this the day of. Thanks, everybody. We'll